It's Josh and Derek in the morning.
What is this?
It's so stupid. Episode 120.
120.
Yep. I hope everybody likes the new intro.
I do.
Good.
I love it. I think it's awesome.
It took me not long.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
yeah, but
It's great.
I don't have to bleep any names out anymore.
Yep.
I don't have to do extra editing. Now we have a new intro,
Yeah.
and it makes me happy because
I know you hated bleeping out Beep's name. Didn't you?
it brought up hard memories
Yeah.
every time I had to hear his name.
Yeah.
And so I had to bleep it out for myself
I get it.
because I miss him so much.
I know. Beep. We miss you a whole lot, buddy.
But yeah, so how was your week?
It was good. It was messy, but it was good.
Messy.
Yeah. So I joined a hunting club.
Mm-hmm.
Me and a couple of guys went in together and we're leasing some land.
What are y'all hunting?
Deer.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know if it was like turkey or dove or.
We may do some turkey hunting,
Mm-hmm.
but we're not 100% sure yet. But mainly deer. And we went Saturday, and we got a tractor that we borrowed from somebody.
Oh,
I don't know if you know
nice.
Andy Phillips.
Yeah.
We borrowed Andy Phillips' tractor.
The greatest baseball player to ever come out of Demopolis, Alabama.
That's right. And he was kind enough to let us borrow his tractor
Yeah.
to go bush hog. And our plan was, hey, let's get to there. We're going to bush hog from the front of the property all the way to the back of the property, cut a road through.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to bush hog. There's 10 fields. We're going to try to bush hog as many as we could that day. Start in the back, work our way forward.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we get there, and right before the last two, like at the very end of the property, there's two green fields and a creek right before them. Well, we got to try to cross this creek. And as we're crossing it, and I say Chris Albright's driving the trailer, or the tractor rather, but as he's going across the creek, something hits the valve stem on the front tire.
Mm.
And we hear tire went flat, broke the seal on the rim, so now we got to take it off and get that fixed. And we've got the bush hog hooked up to it, so we can't get it. And on the other side of the creek is a hill that goes up a little ways. Well, we couldn't get off anyway. We ended up burying the thing. We
How deep would you say it was?
Oh gosh, when it was all said and done, I mean, it was at least waist high.
Gosh.
In mud, not water.
Yeah,
mud.
yeah.
But the kicker there is we were going to use my truck to try to pull it out because I have a 4-wheel drive Tundra, and
Well, it's a Toyota, so.
it is a Toyota, so
So.
should have been able to pull it out.
But
there's a tree that fell, and I don't mean just a little bitty tree. I mean like
big
a
tree.
tree,
Yeah.
with like huge limbs, go big old oak tree
Mm-hmm.
that fell, and so we were gonna have to cut this massive tree down to get it out of the way, just to get my truck back there. And we brought my little bitty chainsaw, but it was dull and it wasn't going to do it. So we actually left. It's on the Greene County, Pickens County line. It's about an hour drive from here. So we drive. We're like, you know what? Let's go and get some chainsaws. So we actually go to the church and borrow the church's chainsaws that they have in the disaster response trailer.
Yeah.
So we go get a
It
couple.
was a disaster.
It was a major disaster. So we go get their chainsaws. We go to my house to get a jack so we can jack the tractor up.
Yeah.
And jack stand, a few other things. And then we drive all the way back. We get back there and we get the tree cut up. Everything's good. Took us about an hour to get that done. We get in there and my truck won't pull the tractor out. Yeah, that sucked.
Nice.
So we're working it. We finally got it to where we could use the bucket to raise the front end of the tractor up so we could get the tire off. So we did that. We're like, let's go get the tire. Let's get the tire replaced, get it fixed, and then come back and try to get it out.
Is it a tube tire?
No.
Oh, tubeless. Okay.
Yeah. And so we get it off and we go to Aliceville's the nearest town. And I didn't know this, but evidently Aliceville closes at noon on Saturday. Everything. And I called a buddy of mine who's another State Farm agent. Shout out Mark Gillen, because I know you're not going to be listening to this, but he was like, yeah, man, I'd help you, but I'm in Birmingham and Aliceville shuts down at noon on Saturday. So sorry, if you can get it fixed, let me know. I can probably get a buddy to come help you get out. So anyway, we finally call, and this is like, I don't know, 5 o'clock, 5:30.
Yeah.
By the time we're still trying to figure this out. And we get somebody in Reform, Alabama, who's like, yeah, I'm at CarQuest Auto. He said, if you can get here in the next 30 minutes, I'll take care of it for you. We were 20 minutes away, according to Google Maps. So we haul butt there.
Yeah.
And we get there, and this high school kid is like, here, give me the tire. And he's like, manhandling. He finally gets the tire off the rim, and the tire is covered. There's got to be 15 pounds of mud in this tire, mud and rocks and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so he fixes it, and he's like, how about $10? And I was like, man, all day.
Here's $10.
Yeah, right?
Keep the change,
I
brother.
had a 10 and a 50, so I gave him a 10. I said, here you go. Thank you much. Anyway, on our way back, we're coming out of the thing there. There's a red light.
Yeah.
Well, our light turns green, but there's a cop coming with his siren the other way. Lights and sirens going, and he's hauling. I mean, I ain't never seen a cop drive that fast. So we yielded to him, let him go, and he guns it. Well, we get down the road, probably he's going the same direction we are. We get down the road probably a mile and a half or so. Still didn't see him. Finally, we come across his hill, and there he is. And there's another cop car right up. They were stopped right there in the middle of the road, and we're like, what is going on? Well, we get up a little bit closer, and we realize they got somebody sandwiched between those two cop cars. Evidently, the first cop was trying to pull somebody over. They weren't stopping, so he guns it, gets in front of them, and slams on brakes. They eat it. It ran in the back of the cop car. Well, this other cop comes up and just rams into the back, sandwiches them together. That all happened. They got him out, guns drawn, get the dude out, put him in handcuffs, get him in the back of the cop car in less than 30 seconds.
Jeez.
I was like, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we get back to the hunting club. We get the tire put back on the tractor, and we just start making things worse. We're just wallering out the hole, and it got a lot worse. Finally, at 10:30 at night, Chris's dad came out there. I don't know. It was dark when he got there. I don't know what time it was, but finally at 10:30 at night, we're like, all right, screw this.
Yeah.
Because we thought that the bucket wouldn't lift up, which means the hydraulic hose broke.
Yeah.
And then we saw something smoking. So we're like, crap. Before we tear anything else up, let's just go home, and we'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
So on the way back out the next day, Sunday, we had to miss church, by the way, on Sunday. So that's why I didn't see you.
Yeah.
But we stopped by Tractor
I wasn't
Supply.
there anyway. Okay. I was in New Orleans. So.
We get some winch cable, 2 snatch blocks, which, do you know what a snatch block is? Okay.
Yeah.
2 snatch blocks and a come along.
Mm-hmm.
And we finally get back out there. We're trying to get it out, and the winch cable breaks.
Didn't hit nobody, did it?
No, it didn't. I got a 6. It was actually one of the small pieces of cable that I wrapped around the tractor.
Okay.
And then hooked a shackle to. But it was a 6,000-pound cable, and it snapped. 3-ton cable snapped with that tractor. Anyway, finally, Chris's dad had the idea we had 2 20-foot chains. He had the idea to hook both of those together, wrap one end around a tree, and wrap the other end around the bucket. And raise the bucket up, because that'll bring the tractor forward a little bit. Well, we did that, and then cut down logs and shoving logs up under the tires. And then we let it down a little bit, and then loosen it up and retighten it, and then do it again. And we just inched our way out that way. Yeah. But we started, I think we got stuck at probably, 10:30 Saturday morning, and we got out at 5 p.m. Sunday evening.
So here's 2 takeaways I have from that story. First takeaway, or question.
Okay.
At what point did you tell Andy his truck or his tractor was, or has that information come to him?
Yes. Yeah. So Sunday morning.
Okay. Gotcha.
Chris called him first thing Sunday morning, because it was 10:30 at night when we got home.
Yeah.
So first thing Sunday morning, Chris called him and was like, hey, man, I got your tractor stuck. And he was freaking out. Like, Chris was so worried about it, because he borrowed somebody's tractor.
Yeah.
And now it's potentially torn up. Well, he calls Andy and tells him, and Andy just busts out laughing. If you know Andy, like, that's the way he would. Yeah. He's like, man, I did that like 2 weeks ago. No big deal.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Second takeaway I have is, so the first blow to your ego is when you show up to CarQuest and there's a high schooler there.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "Oh man, I got you." This high schooler like manhandles you essentially. And this is not me disrespecting you guys at all.
I'm disrespected, but go ahead.
That's fine. I've had to do the same thing and have my ego torn apart. But like the moment when you have to call somebody's dad and you're like, "Hey, Dad, can you come help?"
So his dad's in the hunting club with us.
And I've been there before, so I'm not like. It's just it's a very like it's a
you got a high school kid experience. And your daddy bailing you out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, "Dad, can you come help me, please, Dad?"
Yeah, that was not fun.
I've been there.
I say it wasn't fun.
Yeah,
we had fun. Like I would rather do that than sit at home and do nothing. But
yeah. I mean, I can think of less stressful things to do.
That's right.
But
I can think of more stressful things to do too.
that's true. So yeah, that's I've had a situation. We had a situation one time where I got somebody's dad's old Willie Jeep stuck, and it was in a pond, like in a pond. I was driving, like it was like a dam. The lake was dammed up, and so I was driving like on the edge of it because there was this tree in the way. So like I kind of went just a little bit into the water, but as soon as it hit that mud, it just pulled me all the way in. And then after we finally got, I mean, it was one of those where you're talking about where it was like, we tried this, it didn't work. We tried this, it didn't work. We tried this, and it didn't work. We finally got the Jeep out. Jeep wouldn't run because it had sucked in all that water. And we ended up having, the dude's dad was like super chill about it and cool, but we ended up having to like take out like all the oil and all the gas and like run diesel through all of it so that we could get all the mud out from like the internals of the engine and stuff. The Jeep runs great now, but
jeez,
just don't drive them into water.
And don't get your willy muddy.
Yeah, don't get your willy muddy. But yeah, so we've all been there, I think. If we can be honest with each other.
If we're in Alabama, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how they do in California, but yeah.
All right.
But yeah, it's, things happen. You maybe you regret maybe you think things are going to go one way and you're going to really enjoy it, and then they go the opposite way. And I think that's what's happened with the Beyond Meat CEO.
Okay.
So beautiful segue here.
That was great. I was wondering because there were two or three you could have.
Yeah.
segued
So Beyond Meat, the CEO of Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat is a company, for those people that don't know, that is plant-based meats.
Yeah, hippie stuff.
And he just, he doesn't, or it's the COO, Doug Ramsey.
Is he related to Dave?
I
bet they're brothers.
I didn't ask him. But
let's get one of the interns to ask him.
So the CEO of Beyond Meat, Doug Ramsey, apparently had a beef with another driver in an Arkansas parking garage after a football game, allegedly biting the man's nose.
That's beyond crazy.
So apparently,
like, that's Mike Tyson.
Apparently, he had not eaten meat for so long that he was like, you know what, a nose sounds good.
Jeez.
It's so funny to me that the whole, like, it's, he gets upset with some guy in a parking lot, and he's the guy who is all about, like, not harming animals.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you know what, I won't eat cow, but that schnoz,
yeah,
I might take a bite out of it.
You know what it is? He thought it was a booger, but it's snot.
Snot. Oh, my gosh. A responding police officer said he found two males with bloody faces at the scene, one of which, who identified later as Ramsey. On Tuesday, Beyond Meat announced that Ramsey had been suspended effective immediately. They had only hired him in December. Citing a police report, KNWA-TV said that Ramsey was attempting to leave the parking garage in a Bronco on Saturday when a Subaru inched its way in front of the vehicle. After the Subaru reportedly touched the Bronco's front passenger side tire, not the car, just the tire, Ramsey got out of the vehicle and punched through the back windshield of the Subaru.
My gosh.
The Subaru owners...
That's hard.
Yeah. The Subaru's owner told police...
Well, how do you do that?
When he got out of the car, Ramsey pulled him in close and started punching his body. Ramsey is also accused of biting the other man's nose, ripping the flesh of the tip of the nose, and threatening to kill him. So...
Have you ever tried to punch a windshield out?
There's two things in this article that I've never tried. One is biting a nose.
You've never tried that?
I've never tried to bite somebody's nose. And I've never tried... not with my hands. We have a tool called a Halligan.
Yeah.
And it's got a pointy end on it, and it's all metal, and you swing that thing like a baseball bat, and it won't shatter a window. Sometimes you get a window punch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that works or not, but
I've got that's
what it was advertised.
So, do you know what is on the tip of that makes it
it's
break the window?
The same thing as in a spark plug.
Ceramic.
Yes,
It's ceramic.
Yep.
Yeah. Somehow the ceramic in that.
But he ain't got a ceramic in his fist.
You can take like a piece of it, because we did this in recruit school, is we took a spark plug and broke it on the ground and just took the little piece of the ceramic and just throw it at the window and it'll shatter.
Right.
It's crazy. But yeah, he busted the man's window.
That's impressive.
And then tried to bite his face off. So
that's not impressive.
It's
that's depressive.
You know, just instead of eating your plant-based burgers, if you're that hungry for flesh, just go have a burger.
Just go have a cheeseburger.
Just go have a cheeseburger. Yeah. I went to so back when I did Mammoth, there was an expo that we went to, and they had like an after party type thing, and they had bean burgers, like burgers that were made out of beans, and everybody kept raving about them, and I was just like, why would I go over there and eat that? Like, even if they were like, it tastes just like meat, it's like, why am I going to go eat a bean burger?
And most of the time when people are raving about those, it's because it tastes really good for a bean burger.
Yeah.
But it ain't no
don't
cheeseburger.
Taste like a cheeseburger. Yeah, absolutely.
It ain't a quarter pounder.
Yeah. And most of the time they don't even have cheese on them because they're vegans. So can't do the cheese.
I would never tell somebody that a bean burger was good.
Here's the thing. You could trick me. Like, if you had something that tasted like a burger and I didn't know about it, I would probably rant and rave about it if I didn't know it was a bean burger. But the second I found out it was a bean burger, I'd be like, I don't really. Yeah. I'm not going back there. Our values don't line up.
No.
You know?
You're not being a good neighbor.
Yeah. You know who is a good neighbor?
Me. That was good there. That was good.
Well, you teed it up.
I did. Yeah. Now, yeah, so I was just going to throw this out. Shameless plug for my State Farm agency. A buddy of mine called me and was like, hey, man, I need you to look at my homeowner's insurance. It's keeps going up. So I was looking at it. I was like, yeah, let me look at your home and your auto too. We'll see what we can do to save you some money. I saved this dude $103 a month.
Jeez.
Got him 10 times the liability coverage on his car insurance.
Yeah.
Which most people like just go with whatever they've always had. And liability insurance in the state of Alabama, the minimum coverage is $25,000, but the average price of a new car is over $40,000.
Yeah, so that's not going to cover it.
It's not enough.
Yeah.
And so anyway, if you have $25,000 of coverage, call me because that's not enough. But I got this dude 10 times that amount on his car insurance, and then also got him an umbrella policy, which gives you $1 million of more coverage. Mm-hmm. Anybody that owns a home definitely needs, in my opinion, that much coverage, because you want to have at least enough to cover your assets and your wages.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I got him that, and I got him homeowners insurance and a life insurance policy for his entire family, and saved him $103 a month.
Jeez.
So
you think you could save me money a month?
Probably not,
Oh.
because you're already with me. Because I already saved you money.
Yeah, but
I'm already saving you.
Yeah,
money.
but you maybe you'd be like, hey, look, I got a better deal.
I can make it more expensive.
I definitely don't need that.
Well, but no, for the 40 to 50 people that listen to this podcast,
yeah,
if you have your home and auto insurance with separate companies,
oh gosh, yeah,
bundle them together. Call me, whatever. But yeah, anyway, that was.
I tell people all the time to contact you.
Well, thank you.
So I told my mom. She probably still hasn't called you.
She hasn't. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. But a lot of people don't realize it's Life Insurance Awareness Month.
Yeah.
So
be aware.
Because nobody knows unless you're in the insurance industry.
Be aware that life insurance is out there and you need it.
Yeah. But if you only have what you have through work and you have kids, you probably don't have enough.
Yeah. I know that I don't have enough because I got my policy before we had kids, before we had this house. Mm-hmm. And so I based all of my information off of our old house and not having kids.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if you're curious, if you want to know how much you need, just call me.
Yeah. What's your number?
Hit me up, 205-535-6559.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
And this episode is sponsored by State Farm.
Yeah, Derek Daniels State Farm.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So how did that make you feel when you saved him money?
It made me feel really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah. So speaking of how things make you feel, I saw this from a psychiatrist on TikTok.
Okay.
And it's a question. And based on this question, they can tell a certain thing about you. So you're standing in the middle of the road.
Okay.
Okay. And there is a bus hurtling towards you, like breakneck speed. Like it's gonna hit you.
Okay.
The driver's not checking up. He's probably texting, looking at his phone, and that bus is just screaming down your way, and you can see it coming. How does that make you feel? Think about it for a second.
I mean,
What's your answer?
It makes me feel like I need to move.
So that is that kind of answers it. So there's like two ways that people answer the question.
Okay.
Right? The first way is that makes me feel scared, or like I'm worried.
Okay.
The second way that people answer it is I'm gonna move, which wasn't the question. The question was, how does it make you feel? So you kind of skirted it a little bit, but it was like, you're not telling me how you feel.
So the way I feel,
you're telling me the reaction that you want, the reaction that you're going to have. And so from that, I'm not saying this is you. Okay. I'm just saying this is where the fork in the road is if you tell me the way that you feel, then you're in touch with your emotions. You can connect with your emotions. The other one is you use logic to define what you're going to do instead of dealing with your emotions.
Yeah. I'm a logical person. But I also feel like I need to move out of the way.
That's what, when you're like, I feel like I need to.
So I'm the perfect balance.
Yeah. You're right there in the middle. And I'm sure Danielle will be like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right there.
No, she would not.
That's and the first time that I heard the question asked, initially I was like, in my head I was like, oh, I'd be freaked out. But then like after they were like, all right, take a second to think about it. And then after I thought about it, I was like, I just move. And then they were like, they go back.
I went from angry because the dude's not paying attention.
Yeah.
To, well, I got to survive anyway. So
yeah. And so that's like you using logic to skirt your emotions instead of actually dealing with your emotions. Which I do. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Sign me up. That's what I do for sure. 100%. Because like the emotion doesn't help me.
No.
The emotion has no bearing on anything because it's an emotion. It's not a
doesn't get anything done.
No, it doesn't at all. And one that we were in a training class this week, and they were talking about. So we did a training on Maydays. So you get caught in a house, you get the roof falls on you, something like that. You get stuck, and so like, what are your actions past that? And it's like, as firefighters, we're put into those situations. We're trained in those situations to not let the emotions go.
Yeah.
Because if you're in a burning building and the roof has fallen on top of you, if you get emotional, it's going to be hard not to get emotional.
Right.
Because a roof just fell on you and you're trapped. And so, but instead of being freaked out, this is what you need to do. This step, this step, this step. And I have a problem. This has nothing to do with anything on the list.
Let's do it.
But I have a problem with, it's hard for me to be empathetic to 90% of things because I'm trained to solve the problem. And when somebody brings something to me, it's like, well, that's not a problem. 90% of the stuff is like, that's not a problem. That's not an issue. There's like, you're telling me something that's not even that has nothing to do with anything. Like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Because like, and this is, I've had to deal with this before where I was in a small group with somebody and it was a college kid and they were like, Man, you know what's hard? Like, I had 3 tests this week, and then it's like, you know what's really hard? Is like I had to look people in the face with like their dead relatives in the next room. I had to tell them that their parents were dead. That's hard.
Yeah.
Not, somebody was mean to me today. Like that's
Yeah.
It's like, and so I have a problem being empathetic, and so I use logic 95% of the time because it's like, what's gonna fix this? What's gonna get this done? What's gonna whatever? Because emotions aren't gonna help me here.
Right.
But
No, I'm with you. And I think a lot of men are that way,
yeah,
but not all men are that way, and not all women are not that way.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. There's men and women are built differently to an extent, but then everybody also has their own feelings, their own things that they grew up with, their own life issues, and so maybe they've one side or the other's learned to deal with it in a certain way. But to generalize it, I think most men that I know are like that.
Right. Yeah.
I can say that. I'm not going to say most men, but most men I know are like that.
Yeah.
Most women I know are not like that. So,
No, that's for sure.
which is, I mean, you need it. You need emotions.
You do.
You
absolutely do.
You
need both.
need logic.
You need a good balance.
And that's why there's marriage.
Yeah. That's why there's marriage.
That's why there's marriage. But yeah, so
I think it's all about how you deal with it. Like when if you're not emotions focused, so like if you have emotions on one side and logic on the other end of the spectrum, it's like how do you deal with if you're emotions driven? How do you deal with your lack of logic?
yeah,
Logical responses. If you're a logic person, you got to learn how to deal with when somebody else comes to you and says, "I stubbed my toe today. That's really bad."
yeah.
So like I said, it's all about
Especially after having kids.
Yeah.
It's like I can't just be like, dude, suck it up. I don't give a crap.
Yeah,
Like,
my
I
daughter-
don't care that some kid punched you in school today. Like, what's the fix?
when my daughter was like 2 and 3 years old, if I gave her a Nutri-Grain bar, which is a snack that would give her a good bit, if the bar was broken when she opened it, it was a full out meltdown. The world is ending. My best friend just died cry.
Yeah.
And I'm like you're about to break it anyway. Why do you care? Like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, like I said, it's all about how you deal with it.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. I mean, it will emotion. If you are a logical person, emotion can creep up on you too.
Yeah,
Like you can go from 0 fine to 100% in 2 seconds because a lot of it's built up over time. Like you haven't had an emotional release in 2 years,
Right.
And like, hey, buddy, here it is. Like
Oh,
yeah,
forgot I had those things.
yeah.
Yeah. But like I said, it's all about how you deal with your problem. And you know who else deals with their problem in a way that I really liked? Ron DeSantis.
Yeah.
That was smooth.
That was smooth. I was trying to figure out where you were going at first because I heard the like the inflection in your voice where it was like, it's all about how you deal with it.
7 times.
Yeah.
But on the 7th time, it worked.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts? Ron DeSantis sends 50
Yeah. So
migrants to
here's Martha's Vineyard.
Martha's Vineyard, which,
So-
by the way, I thought was in California up until this whole thing.
Really?
I did.
Well, that's where a lot of vineyards are.
But
There are a lot of vineyards also around the Washington, D.C. area.
yeah,
So
I just didn't.
that's where it is.
Anyway,
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy that we've gotten to a point where it's like, okay, let me back up. I'm personally, this is difficult for me.
okay.
So, man, Ron DeSantis did it. He sent 50 of them on a plane. Is this not just a big PR move?
Absolutely.
That's the thing. But like,
Absolutely.
That's what I can't get behind.
So
I
here-
can't get
here's-
behind that it's disingenuous and it's just to like prop up a campaign.
No, it's not. Here's what it's to call the liberals out on their BS, because Biden does the same thing, but he does it at night under the cover of darkness, where he'll send bus loads or plane loads of people to towns all across the southern border. And they're like, hold up, we're overrun. We don't have the resources to help these people. But they don't care. The Biden administration doesn't care. They're still busing and sending these people on airplanes to these towns where they don't have resources to take care of them. Now, so what Ron DeSantis does is he's like, you know what? I got this. We're going to send them to the richest place in the world, in the U.S. He sends them to Martha's Vineyard,
Yeah.
And they start having a freak out. You know who has the resources to take care of them, though? The people in Martha's Vineyard. And you know what? When they were like, we don't really like this movie. Because at first they were like, yeah, let's. And the residents there were actually pretty cool about it. They were like, yeah, hey, like, let's help them. Like,
yeah.
But then they were like, we don't really have the resources
They
to
sent
take
them
care of
back.
either.
They sent them to Cape Cod.
So then, the National Guard shows up and takes them to the base where they have the resources to take care of them.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like these people were taken care of. So these people that are crying, oh, it's a human trafficking.
Yeah.
No, bull crap.
It was the funniest part of it to me was the videos of them getting sent off from Martha's Vineyard, where it's like people like, oh, goodbye, Manuel, and it's like, goodbye. This ain't got to be goodbye.
Yeah,
you could have kept them here. Like they were like
guest houses.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
it's like, nah, this was like a mission trip for you.
Yeah, it was a mission trip that came to you.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it was.
Yeah,
but if you ask the migrants, hey, are you being abused or treated, treated poorly? They're like, no, this is awesome.
Yeah,
well, we got a free plane ride to the greatest place on earth,
and now we're going to Florida.
And now we're like, what?
Yeah.
This is great.
I mean, the biggest issue that I have with that stuff is like it's a PR stunt.
100%. And Ron DeSantis will tell you that's what it is.
And that's what I
but it's not not a PR stunt to boost his campaign. It's a PR stunt to call out the crap that Biden has been doing that since the day he took office.
Well, and here's my other thing about that is like,
but he's sending them to poor areas.
Yeah. I have a big issue with the whole like Fox News and all this, like everybody playing into the MAGA stuff and I get so tired of that stuff because like you see something on Fox News and it's like they're giving our kids these writing prompts and they're talking about what does it feel like to have sex for the first time in high school or like to our junior high kids, and it's like that was a book of like 2,000 possible writing prompts, and like nobody's reading that whole thing.
No.
And so it gets slipped in, and these parents are like, "Oh my gosh!" And then, like, granted, you should be upset that like something like that happens, but then like they're up in arms about it, and then Fox News takes it, and they're like, "These are the liberals doing this," and it's like
amplify. Yeah, no, they're absolutely just as bad as CNN.
It makes me so sick because I get sent videos from either family members or whoever, and they're like, "This is crazy," and I'm like, let's dial it back a little bit.
Absolutely.
Like, this is just to sell the news.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a widespread issue.
No.
This is very local. Like, there's 2 or 3 times that it's happening, and half the time, it's like it's blown out of proportion just so somebody can sell the news.
Right.
And so that's like, I like Ron DeSantis, but I have an issue with him doing that type stuff where where he's like pushing it. He's like, the liberals. And it's like, come on.
Well, but I get your point. I'm not a Fox News fan. I'm not a Republican. I'm very much a conservative, but I'm not a Republican because I think both sides do a lot of crap. They lie. They over exaggerate, and it just makes things worse. It causes more division.
Absolutely,
and I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah.
The reason I like what Ron DeSantis did is because it calls out and it brings more attention to the fact that, hey, Biden did this, been doing this too for a lot longer, and he's taking these people to poor towns, poor areas that don't have the resources to take care of them. Where the citizens, they want to help them, but like, hey, I'm barely scraping by. Like, so he sends them to a rich area that's known as a liberal safe haven, and watches it not work. And so he's like, hey, I'm just trying to point out that this doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I thought it was great. I thought it was genius. Yes, it was absolutely a PR stunt. I don't think it was to boost his campaign as much as it was to bring attention to what
the issue
is. Yeah.
Gotcha.
The issue is that you've got way too many people flooding the border.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I have my own personal thoughts about the border that probably don't line up with yours.
Probably.
Just because, this is very much because something personal happens.
Okay.
And that's like that, but that's.
Did you say something personal happened?
Yeah.
Like has already happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so this is the problem that a lot of people run into, one side or the other, is like you're basing. Okay, so like let's this is not the topic that we're talking about, and that, like, not to like bring this topic up, but this is a topic that is very similar, is spanking your kids. Every inch of research that's come out in the past 15 years says that spanking your kids doesn't work. We go, well, I was spanked and I turned out great. And it's like, that's a personal thing. Like, that's not the majority of the information that we have available to us. That's very circumstantial. That's very like, it's you. And so you're taking it like, well, since it happened to me and I'm fine, then it's not an issue. But it's like, well, we have all this other information too. And so that's how I feel about my own stance on the border issue, is like, I have something that is personal to me that's happened. And it's like, to me, it makes me think, well, the borders are too tight. And that's because of the things that I've seen and dealt with and went through. And so it's very circumstantial. I don't have any data to back up my feelings on the policies. And so that's why I don't talk about them a lot, because it's like, it's just my feelings.
Yeah.
It's something that's personally happened to me. But, you know, that happens with everybody. That happens with every topic that you talk about, you know, and so I don't know.
My views on the whole border issue are probably not in line with most people, because I don't think, like, I think that we need immigration reform, but I think it's a lot bigger than that. Like, I think that, yes, there needs to be a pathway to citizenship that doesn't take 20 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. But at the same time, I think we are incentivizing people to come here illegally by living in a welfare state like we do. Like, we have so many government-sponsored benefits that people are like, well, why would I stay in Mexico or wherever they are when I can go to America and they'll pay for everything for me? And it's like, so we got to stop incentivizing people to come here illegally. But if you actually legitimately have I'm drawing a blank. What's the word? Where they come, asylum. If you genuinely have an asylum case, like, okay, let's hear that out in a timely manner. But I think you're incentivizing everybody from the world to come to America just because their country sucks.
Yeah.
Like, and I get that. You want to come to a country that's prosperous.
Yeah.
But we got to figure out a way to make it so that the country can still be prosperous, but without incentivizing everybody to come, because everybody can't live in America. I'm sorry. It wouldn't work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think if we can cut some of these government benefits, entitlements, and it all started back with FDR, like when he started rolling out, oh, the government will take care of you. That's the scariest thing on earth.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to, like, I pay into Social Security. I will not ever see Social Security. You'll never see it. Our kids will definitely never see it.
The thing that, like, to me is, I've seen so little of people coming over the border and trying to take advantage of, like, the welfare stuff. Like, that's what I haven't seen it personally. The things that I've seen personally are people coming over the borders and working their A's off.
No, there's a lot of that.
And that's the, like,
and what I mean by the welfare, like, I don't mean they're coming over here and being like, oh, I'm going to come over here and get everything paid for.
Yeah.
Like, that's not, yes, you do have a few of those. They're your bad apples. But really more what I'm talking about is you have incentivized them to come over here by saying, hey, you know what? We'll give you free school. Like, we'll give your kids free school.
Yeah.
We'll give you, you know, you'll be able to go to work, and, you know, if you're willing to live in a single wide trailer with 20 other people, you can send 90% of what you make back. Yeah. And it's like that's where we got to figure out, okay, hold up. Like, because there's a lot of jobs that, especially in the trades industry, that wouldn't get done if we didn't have a lot of people here legally. Like, and that's workers. Just a fact.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so instead of, like, why don't we make it easier for them to get a work visa to come do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like there's things we can do to make it.
Yeah, it needs to. There needs to be reform for 100%. Sure, and I think that's something that most everybody can agree with. Because, I mean, if I lived in Mexico, if I grew up in Mexico and I'm living in a, you know, in one of their towns or cities and stuff, just based on the things that I've seen when I've been there, and I have a family, and I know across the border I can make a better life for them, I don't see why anybody wouldn't want to.
Right.
Like I would want to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there definitely needs to be easier ways of getting across and stuff. But which, you know, somebody might figure out a way to make a business out of that.
You know, they might. Good segue. All right, I have a business idea.
Okay, let's hear it.
And I thought about this. So I had to go get my truck serviced this morning, my oil change and all that. And I was thinking, all right, I'm going to get there. And that's why we were supposed to record the podcast this morning, but didn't get to because I was planning on getting a rental car because I take my truck to the dealership to get it serviced. And I normally, when I have stuff to do that day, I don't want to sit there for 2 hours. I'll get a rental car and they charge you like, I don't know, $10 an hour or something.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah. And so I was going to do that. Well, when I got there this morning, they didn't have any available.
Mm.
And I'm like, man, that sucks. No big deal. Shout out to my buddy Kendall. He got me in and out in less than an hour. It was the fastest by far I've ever been to get my truck serviced. But it got me thinking, what if, because I know a lot of people that are like, I need to get my truck serviced, but I'm putting it off and I procrastinate it and I go over the mileage because it's so inconvenient.
Mm-hmm.
So what if we do, you know, they've got these mobile oil changes now.
Yeah.
Do a mobile oil change that there's a software behind it that like it can tell when your next service is due and it can send you a text, hey, let's schedule or notification on
so
the
like
app
a subscription based service.
Subscription based. And then if it's just an oil change and a tire rotation, hey, cool, we'll come to you and do it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's anything more than that, hey, somebody from this shop is gonna drive a rental car to you, a loaner car. We're going to leave the loaner car there with you so that you've got a way to go. We're going to take your car back to our shop and we're going to do whatever work needs to be done.
Yeah.
We're going to fill it up with gas. And you pay for the gas, obviously.
Yeah.
But we're going to fill it up with gas. We're going to detail it and we're going to do the service and then we're going to bring it back to you. A concierge vehicle maintenance plan.
Yeah.
Where no matter where you are, we'll come to you. And if we can do it right then and there within, 30 minutes of doing it in the parking lot, we'll just do that.
Yeah.
But if it needs to be taken back to the shop, we're going to bring a rental car. And you have a software that keeps up with it. Because if you think, because I got thinking about, the air conditioner, air filters in your house, how you never remember to change those.
Yeah.
And then you take it out and it's like, oh gosh, that's a year old and it's disgusting. Well, they came out with that
Nest.
Filter Easy or whatever it is that ships them to you automatically when it's time to do it. Why not have a service like that where it's like, hey, we know like based on the time because it's 10,000 miles or 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we can tell based on the number of miles that you've driven between your last two, if we average that out, we know that it's time for your next oil change.
Yeah,
and have a service that they send it out. Hey, it's on the app. You get a notification. Hey, do you want to schedule it now? Yes. Okay, let's do this date.
Yeah,
this time. Bam, and it's all done.
I'd 100%. Like, here's the biggest issue that Tesla essentially has a service like that. Like they come to your house, they do all your mobile service. If it's anything more than that, then you have to take it to a shop, but they give you Uber credits to like go back and forth or whatever. But my biggest problem is I absolutely hate going to the tire shop.
Okay.
Like getting tires put on my vehicle because I'm going to drop it off at 7:30 as soon as they open. I'm not getting it back till probably 5:30 that afternoon.
Where do you take it to get tires put on?
Tuscaloosa Tire. And so I drop my car off. Either I have somebody come pick me up or I get an Uber to take me home. And then I'm out of a car for a whole day.
Yeah.
It sucks.
What if they could bring the tires to you?
Exactly.
Pop them on.
Yeah.
You'd have to have a tire machine in the back of the truck, but
I'm sure
or in a
that's
trailer.
I'm sure that's not difficult to do.
No.
Yeah. I would pay for that all day.
Like I'd pay probably an extra $50 to $100 per service.
Yeah.
To not have to deal with it. Not have to think about it. Hey, you scheduled it, you came to me, you did it all, and you either left me a rental car or you came to me so I didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
Like I'd pay a lot of money for that. I'd pay a premium for that. And I bet you a lot of people would.
Yeah. I would. I don't know if it'd be that much. I don't know if it'd be 50 to 100, but I would definitely pay more than what I'm supposed to.
Because, if you think about the amount of time, if I had to sit there and wait 4 hours for them to do all that.
It's too long. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, that's one of those things that like you need to do it, but you just hate to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't find a good segue into this.
I don't know.
So there's a new movie coming out,
Okay.
or that's out, that's called Woman King, and it's about this tribe in Africa.
Isn't that a queen? Anyway, go ahead.
Good point. I don't know if they thought that much into it, but so anyways, it's a movie about this tribe, and this tribe was the Dahomey tribe, Dahomey. It was this African tribe, and like these in the movie at least, there's like this war going on, and it's all these like women who are like BAs, and they're like beating everybody up and killing everybody and all this stuff, which sounds like a really cool movie. And the Dahomey tribe was a warring tribe, like that's what they did, like back in the 1860s. So I saw a video this week that was like, it was a black guy, and he was like, I'm not going to see this movie because the Dahomey tribe was one of the biggest exporters of slaves in Africa.
Dang.
They would capture your village, and then they would sell all your people.
Wow.
And it's like, did nobody fact check this movie before? Like, nobody went through and they were like, hey, by the way, did you know about they were selling slaves and stuff?
Jeez.
But like, apparently, I don't know if they talk about it in the movie, but
so everybody knows that happened, just didn't know it was that tribe, right?
yeah, I'm sure at some point somebody at some point in the movie process knew
Yeah.
that this specific
that tribe was the one
tribe
that did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just meant like normal people, not associated with the movie.
Oh, I mean, if you did any research if you've done any research on
If you went
African
to
tribes
school.
and stuff like that, yeah.
If you went to school.
Yeah, but I think it's hilarious that like, it's like, yeah, this is a great like empowerment movie, and like I'm all for that. I'm not saying that I'm
That's
not,
hilarious.
but then it's like, hey, by the way,
Oh.
they were like,
They weren't great people.
yeah, yeah. That's like if we wanted to make a really great movie about Native Americans, and we were like, you know who we should spotlight?
The Americans.
Well, I was gonna say the Comanches.
Okay. Oh,
Because
because they did the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So everybody go out and see Woman King.
Or don't.
Or don't. You know, it is what it is. Speaking of movies that are coming out or that have already come out, have you ever heard of the Cocaine Bear?
No.
So this is based on a true story, but there's a movie that's coming out soon, and it is after a failed drug smuggling operation, a black bear ingests a large amount of cocaine and goes on a drug-fueled rampage. And
This is a true story?
It's a true story. It is a true story, or based on a true story.
Where can I watch it?
It hasn't come out yet. It's coming out in 2023. It's got Ray Lloyd in it. Elizabeth Banks is the director. But yeah, so the premise: in a Kentucky forest, American black bear goes on a murderous rampage after ingesting a staggering amount of cocaine. And I was trying to find. So here we go. The Blue Bloods of Kentucky want you to associate their state with the thoroughbred race horses or bourbon or even Abraham Lincoln. They would rather not add Cocaine Bear to the roster of Kentucky immortals, but it's too late now. The bear has become an official state icon. Cocaine Bear was briefly famous in 1985 when it was found dead after eating roughly $15 million worth of coke from a duffel bag dropped from a drug smuggler's airplane.
Oh my gosh.
According to a display at the Georgia Bureau of Investigation headquarters, Thornton fell to his death when he had bailed out of a plane, hit his head on the tail of the aircraft, and didn't open his parachute until it was too late. Thornton's body was found in a driveway in Knoxville, Tennessee. 9 coke-stuffed duffel bags were eventually recovered along his plane's flight path. Cocaine Bear was found 3 months later in the woods just south of a Tennessee-Georgia state line, sprawled next to a ripped open 10th bag All of its coke, about 76 pounds, was gone. So, yeah, there's a movie coming out about it.
Wow.
And it says its stomach was literally packed to the brim with cocaine. There isn't a mammal on the planet that could have survived that. Cerebral hemorrhaging, respiratory failure, hypothermia, renal failure, heart failure, stroke, you name it, the bear had it. And there's actually a stuffed cocaine bear.
What's it stuffed with?
I guess cocaine. They dangling from its neck a flashy sign that gives the bear's proper name, Pablo Escobar. Don't do drugs or you'll end up dead and maybe stuff like poor cocaine bear. So yeah, there's a movie coming out 2023. It's going to be a thriller.
It's going to be a thriller.
That's what it like the thing. So I'm excited about it. I want to see
Escobar.
Pablo Escobar.
That's something. That's a movie I'll watch. I don't watch movies, but that's a movie I'll watch.
Sounds like a great one. Honestly, I'll watch it. I'll watch movies that I don't care about, so I'll watch that one. I'll watch plenty of movies. So maybe I can run through this theory really quick.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because I've been trying to get through it for a while. So, have you seen the TV show Westworld?
No.
Okay, so Westworld is this TV show about rich people who go to this place that's set up like an old west town, and all of the people that are in the town are robots. These robots can't kill the humans, but the humans can do whatever they want to the robots. Okay?
Weird.
It's like you go live out your wildest fantasies, whether that's being, a good guy or a bad guy or whatever. Like you can go on, hunts for tribes of Indians. You can go work on a farm. You can, whatever your heart's desire in the Old West, you can do it at this location. And then every night they collect all the dead animatronic bodies and they repurpose them and all this other stuff. Well, eventually the robots get, become sentient, and then they don't like what's happening to them. They figure out what's going on. And so then they, have this huge uprising.
So this is fictional.
Yeah.
Okay. I was looking up this place because I was.
Oh, no. I'm going to go next week. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to go shoot some.
No, this is a movie or a TV show. And there's 4 seasons of it. It's a great TV show. First season is like some of the best TV I've ever seen. But so Westworld was written by the same guy who wrote Jurassic Park.
Spielberg?
No, Spielberg directed Jurassic Park.
Okay.
It's like something Crichton. Let's see, Jurassic Park. It was. Oh gosh, man, we were going so good, and then I messed it up.
Michael Crichton?
Yep. Michael Crichton. So he wrote Jurassic Park as well. And so now there's this theory going around that Jurassic Park was just a park that you go to that you could interact with animatronic dinosaurs, and like it's all connected within this same universe.
It was
and in
supposed
this
to
same
happen
world.
the way it did.
Yeah. And that like even certain characters within the movie are animatronic and you don't know it. Like they're robots and you don't know it.
So that's why they died.
Yeah. Supposedly. Or there was a uprising, like something happened within the code of the dinosaurs and then all of a sudden they could start killing people. Is another like it's like a deep theory that goes on and on and on into like it's cool. It's a cool thought because Westworld was actually a movie before Jurassic Park. And so it was like back in like maybe the 60s.
Okay.
There was a Westworld movie, and it was horribly, effects from the 60s aren't that great.
Yeah.
But then Jurassic Park and all this other stuff came out, so they're like, maybe it's connected.
That makes sense.
So, because, you think about it, like you're going into this other world, like planet, park, whatever you want to call it. And within Westworld, the TV show, there are a bunch of different parks. Like there's Samurai World, there's Westworld, there's Safari World, like all these like different places that
Jurassic
you can go to.
World.
And so maybe Jurassic Park is one of them.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yep. So, I don't know.
I'm not a movie guy.
Yeah.
So it's hard for
You're
me to-
not a movie guy, but you want to play the movie game.
I do want to play the movie game. That's fun. Do we have
Okay.
time to play the
Yeah,
movie game?
we got time.
Let's play the
We
movie
have
game.
just enough time to play the movie game.
All right, let's play the movie
All right. So as always,
I haven't thought about anything, so I got to figure out what movies I'm going to do.
yeah. So as always, we'll start. You tell me a movie, and then I'll look it up, and then
I did Top Gun Maverick last week.
yeah.
Right.
I think I did Woman King last week.
Did you?
I think so, because I knew it was a high ranking. Yeah. I have to look at a lot of movie reviews because when I'm at the fire station and I need something to watch, I always look at the Rotten Tomato score.
All right.
Okay. What you got? Give me your first movie.
You've Got Mail.
Okay. So You've Got Mail, starring Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, has a score of 69.
It's 150 is what we're going for.
We're going for 150. So you got 69. I will go with a high rank. And this is what we were talking about before. I don't remember if anybody said this movie or not. I feel like somebody has had to have.
Okay.
And I hate recycling movies, but I don't know for sure because we don't have a running list of all the movies we've used.
Unless somebody wants to go through and make that list for
Yeah,
us.
that would be fantastic because I'm not doing it. Avatar.
Okay.
So Avatar 2009, 81.
Okay.
So that's pretty close to where I wanted to be. I would have liked to have been in the 90s, but,
All right.
This is such a fun game.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Monty Python. 98. Good job. Good freaking job.
See, I didn't know which way that would go, and it kind of backfired on me because now I'm over 150 already.
Really?
Yeah, it was 69 plus 98.
How much is that?
167.
Okay. So and I'm at 80.
And I still got another movie I got to pick.
Yeah. I'm at 80 something, right?
Jeez, that's all.
I'm going to go Look Who's Talking 2 with John Travolta and Kirstie Alley. 13. It's not as high as I wanted it. A little bit higher.
What's the lowest score you've ever seen? Don't tell me what movie it was.
I like literally just now saw a 0.
Oh, okay.
So you could get a 0.
Okay. I've got to Google some movie titles. I'm just going to Google movies.
Okay. What am I up to?
You are at 94.
What?
81 plus 13. 94.
Was it 13?
Mm-hmm. Isn't that what you said?
Yeah. Jeez, I got a long way to go. I haven't even hit 100. This is unlike me. I don't like playing from behind.
See, I got to pick something that's 0. So what I did was Googled movies from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to go with it. Whoa, I didn't know that movie was in the 90s. You know the movie Ants?
Yeah.
It's 98.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have guessed that. All right. I'm just going to go with this one.
Okay.
It is Forbidden Territory. Stanley's Search for Livingstone.
Forbidden. So I'm going to tell you, I've never heard of this movie,
Me either.
but I'm not sure. Oh, no reviews.
So is that a 0?
No, that's it. You got to pick something else. The only thing that I will say about that is if it is a movie that you've never heard of, you're taking a big risk there.
Because it could go on my
Because it could be like 100. Okay. It could be like a cult classic favorite.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of movies that you don't think about that it's like, man, that was probably a good movie and it was a trash movie.
All right. Ride with the Wind.
Is that the one with the geese?
No, it's a motorcycle movie.
Oh.
If that doesn't work, I've got one more that I'm pretty sure will be rated.
No rating.
Fists of Freedom.
It's not even on here.
It said it was rated by IMDb.
Oh, well. Not Rotten Tomatoes.
But actually, that wouldn't be a good idea because it was 7.4 out of 10. All right. Man, I'm just grasping at straws here.
Just, I mean.
All right. The Handmaid's Tale. That's a
2017?
No. It was 1990, I think.
1990? Okay. Got it. 29.
That sucks. Okay.
So since I've had 4 years to think about it now that you took so long.
What did you say it was, 29?
Yeah, 29. I'm going.
Jeez, that's my worst performance ever.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to give you, I'm going to see if you can guess the movie title that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Just based on the characters' names.
And then I want to guess the score.
Okay. You've got Colt, Tom Tom.
Oh, little Three Ninjas.
32. Oh, were you going to guess the score?
Yeah,
I forgot
but
about
I
that.
would have guessed a lot higher than 32 because that's a great movie.
It's a fantastic movie.
I watched it not long ago.
If you want a good Zero movie, apparently Three Ninjas High Noon at Mega Mountain.
Yeah, none of those sequels were good.
I liked them. I like Hulk Hogan. Yeah. Throw him in there with the ninjas.
No.
I'm good for it.
Not good. So what'd you get? 81 plus 13 plus, what was it, 32? You were 126.
Yeah. I mean, I won. So.
Yeah, you did. You did. You did. Don't have to rub it in. Yeah.
I'm undefeated.
I was 46 over.
Uh-huh.
You were 24 under.
I'm undefeated.
You are. I will beat you one day. I will beat you one day.
Yeah. Well, that's what everybody says, but hadn't happened yet.
Yet. Being the key word there.
Yeah.
Maybe next week.
We'll see.
Maybe next week.
Yeah.
Sweet. Guys, y'all have a good week.
Yeah.
See ya.
See ya.